Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you were born to become. It is the quiet commander of greatness, the invisible thread that binds vision to victory. In a world screaming for shortcuts and instant rewards, discipline speaks in a whisper that only the committed can hear. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't seek permission. It waits in the dark, patiently molding ordinary men into legends. It is not the absence of temptation, nor the denial of comfort. It is the ability to choose long-term strength over short-term relief again and again until your soul becomes immune to excuse. Most people want success. Few are willing to suffer for it. Fewer still are willing to do it every single day. Because discipline doesn't ask you once, it asks you always. Discipline is not talent. It is not passion. It is not luck. It is a decision. A decision made not once, but thousands of times. When you're tired, when you're unsure, when the path is invisible and the noise is deafening, the discipline don't wait for the right moment. They create it. They wake before the sun, move while the world sleeps, and build while others dream. They don't need motivation. They have purpose. Think of the greatest names etched into the granite of history. Edison, who failed 10,000 times before the bulb lit. Mandela, who endured 27 years of a prison cell but never surrendered the clarity of his cause. Helen Keller, who could neither see nor hear, yet touched the hearts of millions through words. What drove them forward was not convenience. It was commitment. The kind of commitment that lives inside discipline. Discipline is the sculptor of your character. It chiseled Lincoln's humility. It forged Carnegie's ambition. It anchored Mother Teresa's compassion in unshakable routines. Success doesn't show up in a blaze of glory. It arrives slowly, quietly, in the form of early mornings, focused hours, painful repetitions, and small sacrifices that no one sees. It shows up when you say no to the wrong thing and yes to the hard thing over and over until it becomes who you are. We've been conditioned to believe that success is a secret, that if we just discover the right method, hack, or book, we'll arrive. But the truth is simpler and far more demanding. The truth is that success bows to discipline, and discipline demands everything. You don't become strong because life gives you strength. You become strong because discipline teaches you how to endure. The gym doesn't build muscle, showing up when you don't feel like it does. Reading books doesn't make you wise. Reading daily, thinking critically, and applying insight consistently, that's where wisdom begins. Every skill sharpened, every habit forged, every dream realized starts with discipline. And here's the brutal reality most refuse to accept. Talent without discipline is tragedy. Intelligence without discipline is wasted brilliance. Potential without discipline is a graveyard of forgotten dreams. But there's hope, and here it is. Discipline is not something you're born with. It is something you build, brick by brick, choice by choice, moment by moment. It is forged in silence, grown in solitude, and tested in chaos. And it begins the moment you stop negotiating with your weakness and start honoring your standard. That is when your mind changes. That is when you stop asking, do I feel like it? And start declaring, this is who I am. Because discipline isn't about the external, it's about identity. It's about becoming the kind of person who keeps their word to themselves. And once that shift happens, you become unstoppable. Not because the world changes, but because you do. You no longer chase outcomes, you embody them. You don't wish for success, you train for it. You don't fear failure because discipline turns failure into fuel. You don't ask if the dream is possible because your actions prove it. Discipline rewires the mind. It takes the clutter of distraction, the chaos of emotion, the addiction to comfort, and clears the path so your true self can rise. The undisciplined mind is a battlefield, every urge, a grenade, every excuse, a sniper. But the disciplined mind is a fortress. It holds the line, it protects the vision, it commands the body, even when the soul feels weary. Because discipline isn't a feeling, it's a command. It's a vow you make in the dark when no one's watching. And you keep that vow even when your strength is drained, even when no applause follows, even when doubt screams louder than faith. Discipline is what you hold when everything else has been stripped away. When the motivation fades, when the inspiration dies, when the crowd disappears, it's still there, still standing, still pushing. That's why discipline is the highest form of self-respect, because when you follow through on what you said you'd do, especially when it's hard, you're telling yourself, I am worthy of greatness. I am not a slave to comfort. I am not here to live like the average. You train your identity with every act of discipline, every rep in the gym, every page read, every dollar saved. Every morning you rise without excuse. These are not habits. These are declarations. You are not just doing the work. You are becoming the work. And this transformation is not loud. It doesn't post itself online. It doesn't beg for recognition. It doesn't need validation, because the disciplined man or woman knows the results will speak. The body will change. The bank account will grow. The vision will manifest. And when it does, no one will call it luck. They'll call it discipline. We live in a time where dopamine is sold like candy. Notifications, entertainment, fast food, shortcuts, everything is designed to train your brain to expect now. But discipline is the rejection of now for the reward of later. It delays the cookie so it can earn the feast. It says no to comfort today so you can have freedom tomorrow. It trades impulse for intention, desire for destiny. And here's what few will tell you: discipline doesn't get easier. You get stronger. It never stops requiring effort. But your mind learns how to carry the weight. Your spirit learns how to rise under pressure. Your habits become armor. And soon, what once felt impossible becomes your new normal. People will ask how you did it. They'll want your routine, your secrets, your shortcuts. But they won't understand that it wasn't about what you did. It was about who you became. You became someone who didn't flinch, someone who did it anyway, someone who kept showing up when the thrill was gone and only grit remained. And that is the difference between those who talk about success and those who live it. So ask yourself this: who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when your emotions scream at you to stop? When comfort tries to seduce you back into bed, back into weakness, back into mediocrity, what do? That's your real reflection, not your Instagram bio, not your intentions, not your vision board, but your behavior under pressure. Because greatness is not measured in dreams. It is measured in discipline. It is not declared. It is demonstrated. Not once, but daily. Especially when it's boring. Especially when it hurts. Especially when you'd rather do anything else. That's where discipline lives. Not in the highs, but in the grind. And if you want to become the person your future requires, the leader, the creator, the warrior, the master of your craft, then you must marry your life to discipline. Not date it, not flirt with it, not consult it when it's convenient. You must become one with it, because anything less is betrayal. You see, the world will offer you distractions dressed as opportunities. It will tempt you with comfort disguised as peace. It will whisper, "You've done enough," when the truth is you're just getting started. That's why discipline must become your compass. It keeps you on course when the wind shifts. It grounds you when the ground shakes. It reminds you, gently but firmly, you have more to give. And you do. You know it. Deep down, under the excuses, under the fear, under the stories you've told yourself to justify procrastination, you know there's a deeper version of you waiting. Not the one who says someday, but the one who acts today. Not the one who wishes for more, but the one who becomes more. Discipline is how you meet that version. Not through speeches or slogans, but through sweat, through stillness, through repetition, through waking up early when no one tells you to, through studying when your friends are out, through grinding while they scroll, through refusing to betray your purpose even for a moment, because the cost of undisciplined living is high, higher than you think. You don't just lose time, you lose confidence. You lose momentum. You lose the part of you that believes you're capable. Every time you break your own word, you train your mind to expect less of itself. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, you begin to shrink. But discipline reverses that decay. It rebuilds your integrity brick by brick. It reestablishes trust with the one person who matters most to you. And when you trust yourself, you become dangerous. You stop waiting for someone to believe in you. You stop needing the world to say, you're good enough. Because you already know. Your work proves it. That's why the greatest reward of discipline isn't money or status or praise. It's freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from guilt. Freedom from the torment of what could have been. The disciplined man doesn't live in the shadows of mischances. He lives in the light of earned victories. Because every step he took, every hour he sacrificed, every temptation he resisted was a vote for the life he now lives.